Hey, what's up guys, this is Rajesh and you're watching Input.outpput campus. So today in this video we'll discuss about hooks and we'll see the practical example of our very first hook, which is useState hook. So first of all, let us know what is hooks. So hooks are new addition in React 16.8. So hooks let you use state and the other React features without writing any class. Okay, so the basic three hooks in React.js is useState, useEffect and useContext, and other additional hooks like useReducer, useCallback, useMemo, useRef, useLayoutEffect. We'll discuss all this in the other video. And finally we'll see the custom hooks. We'll see how to build our own hooks for our project requirements. Okay friends, so without wasting time, let's start the video. So before starting the video, make sure you have subscribed to Input.outpput campus YouTube channel and press the bell icon and select all, because when I'll upload a new video you'll get the notification first. Okay, so today we'll see useState hook. So this is very important and commonly used hook in React.js. So you see here we are using functional component in React.js. So in the functional component, useState hook creates state variable. So it creates a state variable in functional component in React.js. Okay, so let's see how the useState hook looks like. So useState hook looks like this. So to write a hook, you first have to write use keyword. Okay, and this will be in small letter, and then you have to write in capital letter. Like I want to use here useState hook, so I'll write use and then S capital STAT, useState, and this is useState hook, and I will import this hook from this React. So first import this hook from here. Now if I hover over here, you can see here useState is undefined. So how we can define this useState hook? So to define this, just write here const and give here any variable name, like I give here state. Okay, and then give here a name in camel case and it will start with set. Okay, you have to write sct set, it's compulsory, and then you have to write in camel case like set state. Okay, now you can see here two elements, state and set state. So what is state and what is set state? So this first element is the initial state. So what is the initial state? So initial state can be any value or any function. Okay, so suppose the initial state is 0 and you have to give here a equal sign. Okay, now you can see error is gone and our initial state value is 0. The first element is used to set the initial value, and the second element, you can see here the second element is set state. So this second element is a function, or you can say this is a dispatcher. Okay, so we can use this second element to update this state. So our initial state value is 0. If we want, we can update this state from 0 to 1 or 0 to 5 or 0 to 100 or 0 to anything. Okay, by using this second element, which is what? Which is a function or a dispatcher. Okay, so let's see what is inside this state. So for that we can console it. Okay, so just log it and write here state and write here state and save it. And now go to this browser and inspect here, and in the console you can see our state value is 0. Now if we change the state value from 0 to 5 and save it, now you can see here our initial state value is now 5. Okay, so now you know that how we can use this state and what is inside this state. Now the second element, which is a function or a dispatcher, to update this state. So how we can update this state? Using this set state. Okay, to know that, we'll create a counter. So we'll create a counter and there will be two buttons, increment and decrement. When we'll click on increment, that will increase the current value. When I click on decrement, that will decrease the value. Okay, so let's create a counter first. Okay, so first of all, let's comment it and give here suppose 0, and inside this return write here h2 and here write counter and give here the state, and our initial state value is 0. So we can change this for better understanding. So as we are creating a counter, so let's change it to count. Okay, so we can give it any name. So just let's give it count and change this name from set state to set count. Now give here the count and save it, and if you go to the browser, you can see our counter value is 0. Now we want two buttons here. One is for increment and other one is for decrement. So let's give here a button, and this is for increment. Let's copy this button and give here another button, and this is for decrement. And if you save it and go to the browser, you can see we have get these two buttons, increment and decrement. When you click on this increment, this value will increase, and when you click on this decrement, this value will decrease. Okay, so give here some space by writing in BSP and colon, and you can see here there is some space between increment and decrement now. Okay, now our initial count value is 0. Now we want to increase or decrease this count value. So how we can do that? So when user will create on this increment button, some logic will be performed here. So when user will click on this increment, this count value will be increased, and will increase this count value by updating with the help of this setCount function, okay, or setCount dispatcher. So for that we have to write here onClick function. So when user click on this increment button, we'll call a function. So suppose the function name is increase count. Okay, just copy it and here write your function const increase count, and then give here a fat arrow function, and inside this function we will update this count with the help of this set count. So as this is a function, we will write this as function, and you know how to write a function name and then this first bracket. Okay, and inside this we will increase this count value. So we want to increase the count value by 1. So when user will click on this increment button, then this count value will change from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, like this. Okay, so for that what I can do, we can increase count by 1. So just write here count plus 1. So now the count value will be set to 1 when user will click on this increment. Okay, so just save it and let's see if it's working or not. So when I click on this increment, you can see the count value increased by 1. If I click on second time, it's increased by 2. Now this increment button is working fine. Let's do the same thing for this decrement button. When we'll click on this decrement, this value will be decreased. Okay, so for that, inside this button write here on click function and give here a function name where we will handle the operation. Okay, suppose the function name is decrease count. Now let's do the same thing here, like const decrease count, and here will be a function, and inside this function we'll write this same dispatcher again. So set count, and here will be what? Here the count value, here our state value will be decreased by 1. So count will be -1. Okay, so let's save it and go to the browser, and to refresh this, click on this increase button. You can see here this value is increasing. If you now click on this decrement button, this value will be decreased. Okay, and it will go to the negative value also. Okay, so now if we want to give some conditions here, like we want to increase from 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, and we want decrement from 10 to 1, and not the negative numbers. Okay, so for that, what you can do, we can write a if conditions here, and if we give here if condition, if the count value is less than 10, if the count value is less than 10, then we will increase the count value or update the count value. And here we'll also write if the count value is greater than 0, only then we'll decrease the count value. Okay, and save it. Now go to the browser and refresh it, and if we click on this increment button, after 10 it's not increasing, and when I will click on this decrement button, it will decrease this value before 10, and you can see it's decreased up to 0 and not before the 0. Okay, so that's how we can use this useState hook, and using this useState hook we can handle the state here and update the state. So we have learned the React component. We'll apply this component concept in this counter f here. Okay, so how we can apply this component concept? So we don't want to write this h2 in this app component. We want this line in a separate component. So for that we have to create a component. So you can see here there is a component folder, and inside this component folder I will create a component. Suppose the name of the component is counter, and the component starts with capital letter, so just give its name counter.js. Okay, now here instead of this we can write here, okay, we can write here our component. So our component is counter, and so you know how to create a component. So first let's write the basic syntax and basic format of functional component by typing here rafc and press enter, and basic format is ready. And inside this div, so just remove this div, and now this fragment, and inside this fragment we can write here h2. Okay, and write here text like new counter. Okay, and here we'll give her count value. So to get the count value we have to pass it from here. So for that, first of all let's save it, and here import the counter component. So how to import the counter component? Just write here counter, and you can see here counter component is here, and just click on this and counter component is imported. Now we want to pass this count value because we need the count value here in this counter component to show the count value. So to pass this we can give here any name like count number, and here give the state, and our state was count. Okay, now inside the counter let's write here props. So to access this count we'll write here props, and now we'll destructure this. So you know how to destructure, so let's write const, and inside this you have to write this same name count number, and then write here props. Okay, so I have also make a dedicated video on props. You can watch that video to get a clear idea about props. Okay, so now we can use the count value. So just copy this count number and paste it here and save it. And if you go to the browser, and you can see here new counter is equals to 0. Now if you click on this increment, this will increase the value. If you click on this decrement, this will decrease. Okay, so in this video we have saw what is hooks, how to use our very first hook, that is useState hook, what is state, and how to update the state in functional component by using useState hook. And we have create a counter, and also we have create a counter component here where we have passed the props and destructured the props and use the count value. Okay, so still if you have any confusion regarding this video, then please comment down below. Okay friends, thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Till then, take care.